All right, everyone, buckle up. We're diving headfirst into a topic that's got the crypto world buzzing like crazy, um, Trump's second term.
It's a total whirlwind, right? I mean, excitement, skepticism, and a whole mountain of questions,
Oh, absolutely.
especially when it comes to, how his whole stance on crypto has, totally flipped since his last time around in the White House,
It's quite the dramatic shift. Yeah.
to put it mildly. So, to help us sort through all this, we've got two articles we're looking at today, one from the Indian Express and the other from Tangle, and they offer some pretty different viewpoints, which, hey, always makes for a good, lively discussion.
Absolutely.
And if you have any other opinions, you know what to do. Drop them in the comments. We love hearing from you. So, all right, let's jump right into it.
Sounds good.
How in the world did Trump go from calling Bitcoin a scam to, full on declaring himself the first crypto president?
Well, it's certainly a fascinating journey, isn't it?
It's a head spinner for sure.
The Indian Express piece really digs into this whole transformation. Yeah, it's wow. So what's the story here? I mean, is it a calculated political strategy? Has he actually, seen the light and believes in the tech? Right. Or is there something else entirely going on?
Both articles kind of point to a mix of factors, actually.
Okay.
The Tangle article suggests that, Trump's inner circle is packed with these pro-crypto figures these days, and they're likely pushing him towards, a more favorable stance.
So maybe he's being swayed by the company he keeps.
Possibly.
That makes sense.
But at the same time, the Indian Express piece kind of reminds us that Trump's never been one to shy away from a potential financial gain, right?
True.
And well, let's face it, crypto's a hotbed for that.
You're not wrong about that. And it's not just talk either.
Right.
Remember, Bitcoin went absolutely bonkers, hit an all-time high right before his inauguration, blasted past $109,000.
Oh, yeah, that was a big moment.
That kind of market reaction, I mean, it speaks volumes. If you're digging this analysis, hit that like button and subscribe for more crypto deep dives.
Yeah, don't forget to subscribe.
So, okay, but let's get down to the nitty-gritty here.
Sure.
What does Trump actually plan to do with all this newfound crypto love? Yeah. I mean, the Indian Express piece talks about creating a national Bitcoin reserve, a whole crypto advisory council, even appointing a crypto czar. What's the deal with all that?
Well, those are some pretty ambitious plans, and they could have some major ripple effects, good and bad.
Yeah, I bet.
A national Bitcoin reserve, for instance, that could potentially shake things up big time, challenge the U.S. dollar's global dominance.
Wow, that's huge. Okay, and what about this crypto czar business?
Yeah, that's an interesting one. It seems to signal that Trump wants to centralize crypto policy decisions.
Crypto czar, it does have a nice ring to it. It sounds like he's going all in, doesn't it?
It certainly seems that way.
But what does all this mean for, the average person? Is this going to change how we use money, how we invest? What's the real-world impact here?
Well, it's definitely possible.
Okay.
Increased regulatory clarity, for example, something both articles touch on, that could lead to, way wider adoption of crypto for everyday transactions.
Interesting. So it could actually make using crypto easier for everyone.
Potentially, yes.
Gotcha.
But, the Tangle article also brings up some valid concerns about potential misuse and political opposition, which could complicate things down the road.
Right. There's always a flip side. If you're finding this deep dive insightful, share it with a friend who might be interested. Spread the knowledge.
Absolutely. Sharing is caring.
Okay, now let's talk about these big appointments that the Indian Express article mentions. Paul Atkins as SEC chair and David Sachs as the crypto czar. Who are these guys, and what can we expect from them?
Well, they're both known for being pretty pro-crypto.
Okay, so they're on board with this whole thing.
It seems so, yes. Atkins, with his background at the SEC, he could really push for regulations that, help the industry grow.
Interesting.
And Sachs, being a tech entrepreneur, he might focus more on fostering innovation within the crypto space.
So, potentially a dream team for all those crypto enthusiasts out there.
Maybe, yeah. But even with their influence, it's important to remember that there are some massive challenges ahead.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And that's where we're headed next, right? Into the world of roadblocks and hurdles. We're talking congressional gridlock, environmental concerns, a whole other beast.
For sure.
But before we dive into that, we want to hear from you.
Absolutely.
What are your other opinions on all this? Hit that comment button and let's get the conversation going.
Yeah, let's hear it. Okay, so let's be real here for a second. Trump's crypto plans, they're not exactly going to be a walk in the park.
Oh, yeah. Definitely not all sunshine and roses.
Right. For all the hype about this Bitcoin superpower vision he's got, well, there's a whole lot of, a whole lot of reality to deal with.
Oh, yeah. The real world always comes knocking, right?
Exactly. And both articles we're looking at, the Indian Express and Tangle, they lay out some pretty big, pretty big challenges he's probably going to run into.
So, like, what are some of the biggest roadblocks you see?
Well, one of the big ones is good old congressional gridlock.
Yeah, Congress can't live with them, can't live without them.
Exactly. Crypto regulation. I mean, it's still a hot potato.
Totally.
People are arguing about it all over the place and trying to get anything passed. Well, especially with Trump's, his knack for kind of, stirring the pot.
You mean his talent for being a little divisive?
Yeah, exactly. It could be a real uphill battle.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, even if he's got the best intentions, actually getting those policies through Congress, I mean,
Now,
that's a whole other can of worms.
It really is.
It's like herding cats sometimes.
Yeah. Great analogy.
What else? What about those environmental concerns? That's a big one these days. Right?
Oh, yeah, for sure. The Indian Express piece that talks about that.
Right.
The huge energy consumption that comes with Bitcoin mining.
Yeah, it takes a lot of power to keep those coins flowing.
It really does. And it's, it's a valid concern,
Yeah.
especially with, climate change being such a big issue.
Absolutely. Everyone's talking about it.
Right. And it's something Trump's administration, they're really going to have to tackle it head on if they want people to, to get behind this whole crypto agenda.
It's a tough one, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, on one hand, you've got this potentially revolutionary technology.
Yeah.
But on the other hand, you've got, the potential for some serious environmental damage.
Right. How do you balance those two things?
It's a real balancing act.
It is. And then there's the whole issue of, scams and market manipulation.
Oh, yeah, the dark side of crypto.
Yeah, Tangle really hits on this point. Crypto is still, it's relatively young.
Right.
And it's still pretty unregulated.
Yeah.
Which, unfortunately, makes it a prime target for bad actors.
And we've seen that happen, right?
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, FTX collapse, that was a brutal wake-up call.
It was.
It shook the whole crypto world. And, it's something people are still thinking about.
Absolutely. And even with Trump's promises to, to crack down on all the illegal stuff going on, it's a constant battle.
It's like a game of whack-a-mole.
Exactly. New scams pop up all the time.
It's crazy.
It really is. And that's why education is so important.
Oh, totally.
The more people understand about how crypto works, the better they'll be at, spotting those red flags and protecting themselves.
Couldn't agree more. And speaking of education, if you're finding this deep dive helpful, hit that subscribe button. Share it with your friends.
Yeah, spread the love.
We're all about sharing knowledge here.
Absolutely.
All right, so let's shift gears a bit here. Zoom out and look at the the bigger picture.
Sure.
How might all this crypto love from Trump, how might it affect the whole global financial landscape?
That's where things get really interesting.
It's where it gets mind-blowing, potentially.
Yeah, potentially.
I mean, the Indian Express piece, it talks about a potential crypto arms race.
Yeah, I saw that.
With countries all over the world scrambling to, establish themselves as these crypto hubs.
Right, everyone wants a piece of the pie.
Exactly. So if the U.S., with Trump leading the charge, if it becomes this crypto haven, I mean, it could trigger a massive shift in a global financial power.
Oh, for sure.
We might even see a move away from the U.S. dollar as the king of currencies.
It's possible.
Towards something like Bitcoin.
Yeah, it's a wild thought.
A world ruled by Bitcoin. Whoa.
It's not as crazy as it sounds, though. I mean, we're already seeing countries experimenting with their own digital currencies.
Right. And you've got these huge financial institutions pouring money into crypto infrastructure.
Exactly. The whole landscape is changing fast.
It's moving at warp speed.
It is. And Trump's actions, they could really speed things up even more.
It's a lot to process. I mean, we're talking about a potential, a paradigm shift in how the whole world handles money.
It's huge.
So what do you think? Are we on the verge of a full-blown crypto revolution?
It's definitely a possibility. But like with any revolution, there are going to be winners and losers.
Right.
And trying to predict who's going to come out on top, well, that's almost impossible.
Yeah, it's like trying to predict the weather months in advance.
Exactly.
But hey, that's part of what makes it so exciting, right?
It keeps things interesting.
Oh, for sure. For sure.
Mm.
So what do you make of Trump's claim that, this is the beginning of a golden age for crypto? The Indian Express article, they really highlighted that quote.
It's a bold statement for sure.
Yeah.
And honestly, only time will tell if he's right.
Right.
It all depends on a bunch of factors,
Okay.
how successful his policies are, how the rest of the world reacts to this, this new U.S. crypto strategy.
Yeah, there are a lot of moving pieces.
There are, and let's not forget about the potential for, for some unintended consequences.
Oh, right. Those pesky unintended consequences.
Yeah, whenever you try to shake up a system as big and complex as global finance, well, you're bound to run into a few surprises along the way.
Always, always.
Absolutely, and that's why it's so important to stay informed.
Oh, totally.
To really engage in these conversations,
Yeah.
We need to be thinking critically about this whole crypto revolution, the good, the bad, and the potentially ugly, and consider how it might affect all of us.
I couldn't agree more. And that's why we always encourage you, our awesome listeners, to chime in, share your thoughts, hit us up in the comments with those other opinions.
Yeah, let's hear what you think.
What are your hopes and fears for the future of crypto?
We're all in this together, trying to figure out this crazy, ever-changing world.
All right, so we've talked about the challenges, the global implications.
Yeah.
But what about Trump himself? I mean, what's really driving him here?
That's the million-dollar question.
It is. Is it all about economic growth and, pushing for innovation? Or is there something else going on beneath the surface?
Both articles, they try to get at that,
Right.
Tangle suggests that maybe it's a way for him to connect with, a younger, more tech-savvy crowd.
Got to appeal to the younger generation.
Yeah, right. But then the Indian Express piece hints that maybe, just maybe, there are some personal financial motivations at play.
Like what?
Well, remember those Trump and Melania meme coins he launched?
Oh, yeah, those. I almost forgot about those.
Right before he took office.
That's a pretty bold move.
It is. It makes you wonder.
It really does. Is this whole Bitcoin superpower thing really about, what's best for the country? Or is there, like, a whole personal agenda we're not seeing?
It's hard to say for sure.
Yeah.
But it's a good reminder that we should always be a little skeptical.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Especially when it comes to something as, as unpredictable and potentially profitable as crypto.
Especially when it comes to politicians and money, right?
Exactly.
We got to keep our eyes open.
We do. Don't just take our word for it, though.
Right. Think for yourselves, people.
What are your other opinions on all this?
Yeah, hit us up in the comments below.
We love hearing your perspectives.
We really do.
And hey, if you found this deep dive helpful, why not share it with a friend?
Spread the knowledge, spread the love.
The more people we can get involved in this conversation, the better.
Absolutely. And speaking of getting involved, if you haven't already, hit that like button and subscribe to our channel for more deep dives into all sorts of fascinating topics.
We've got a lot of great stuff coming your way.
So, to kind of, wrap things up here.
Okay.
Trump's whole embrace of crypto, it's a complex situation.
It really is.
With some potentially huge implications.
Sure.
On the one hand, you've got the promise of, all this innovation, economic growth, maybe even a more decentralized financial system.
Right. It could really shake things up.
But on the other hand, there's some very real concerns about volatility, regulation, the potential for misuse.
Absolutely.
Both by individuals and e-governments.
It's a double-edged sword.
It really is.
Yeah.
And the outcome, well, it's anyone's guess.
Still early days.
But one thing's for sure, crypto's not going anywhere.
It's here to stay.
And its impact on the world, well, it's only going to get bigger.
It will.
So whether you're a crypto pro or just starting to dip your toes in.
Staying informed is key.
Absolutely. Knowledge is power, people.
That's what we're all about here on The Deep Dive.
We want to give you the tools to navigate this crazy, constantly evolving world.
Exactly.
And don't forget, we're always open to other opinions. So hit us with those comments, challenge our assumptions. Let's keep this conversation going.
We love hearing from you.
Okay, so we've covered the challenges, the global implications. But what about Trump himself? I mean, what's really driving him here?
That's the million-dollar question.
It is. Is it all about economic growth and, pushing for innovation? Or is there something else going on beneath the surface?
Both articles, they try to get at that,
Right.
Tangle suggests that maybe it's a way for him to connect with, a younger, more tech-savvy crowd.
Got to appeal to the younger generation.
Right, but then the Indian Express piece hints that maybe, just maybe, there are some personal financial motivations at play.
Like what? Well, remember those Trump and Melania meme coins he launched?
Oh, yeah, those. I almost forgot about those.
Right before he took office.
That's a pretty bold move.
It is. It makes you wonder.
It really does. Is this whole Bitcoin superpower thing really about, what's best for the country? Or is there, like, a whole personal agenda we're not seeing?
It's hard to say for sure.
Yeah.
But it's a good reminder that we should always be a little skeptical.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Especially when it comes to something as, as unpredictable and potentially profitable as crypto.
Especially when it comes to politicians and money, right?
Exactly.
We got to keep our eyes open.
We do. Don't just take our word for it, though.
Right. Think for yourselves, people.
What are your other opinions on all this?
Yeah, hit us up in the comments below.
We love hearing your perspectives.
We really do.
And hey, if you found this deep dive helpful, why not share it with a friend?
Spread the knowledge, spread the love.
The more people we can get involved in this conversation, the better. Absolutely. And speaking of getting involved, if you haven't already, hit that like button and subscribe to our channel for more deep dives into all sorts of fascinating topics.
We've got a lot of great stuff coming your way.
All right, so we've really dug deep into Trump's crypto plans, haven't we?
We have. It's been quite the journey.
From that whole, that surprising shift in his stance to the potential hurdles and the global impact. It's been a wild ride.
It really has. We've talked about the regulatory challenges, the environmental concerns, the risk of scams, and even the possibility of this global financial power shift.
It's a lot to wrap your head around.
It is.
But before we wrap up completely, let's circle back to something we haven't really touched on much.
Okay.
Those Trump and Melania meme coins he launched. I mean, it almost feels too bizarre to be true.
It does add an interesting twist to the whole story, that's for sure.
It does.
The timing, right before he takes office, definitely raises some eyebrows.
It does. It makes you wonder, is this a savvy move by a tech-savvy president? Or is it a potential conflict of interest?
It's hard to say for sure.
It really is. It makes you think about his motivations.
It does.
Is this whole Bitcoin superpower push, is it really about, what's best for the U.S.? Or is there something else going on, some personal angle we're not seeing?
It's tough to know for certain, but it's a good reminder, I think, that we should always be, a little bit critical of those in power.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Especially when you're dealing with something as volatile and potentially profitable as crypto.
Yeah, especially when it comes to politicians and money.
Exactly.
You gotta keep your eyes peeled.
You do.
Don't just take our word for it, though.
No, absolutely not.
We want to hear from you.
We do. What are your other opinions on all this?
What are your thoughts?
Drop them in the comments below.
Let's have a conversation.
We love hearing your perspectives.
And hey, if you found this whole deep dive helpful,
why
not share it with a friend?
Spread the knowledge.
The more people we can get involved in this whole conversation, the better.
Absolutely.
And speaking of getting involved, if you haven't already, hit that like button, subscribe to our channel for more deep dives into, all sorts of fascinating topics.
You've got a lot more coming your way.
So to kind of, tie everything together here.
Okay.
Trump's embrace of crypto, it's a really complex scenario, isn't it?
It is, and it's potentially transformative.
On one hand, you've got the promise of innovation, economic growth, maybe even a more decentralized financial system.
Right. It could really change the game.
But on the other hand, you've got these very real concerns about volatility, regulation, the potential for misuse.
Absolutely.
By both, individuals and governments.
It's a two-way street.
It is. It really is. And the outcome, well, your guess is as good as mine.
Nobody knows for sure.
But one thing's clear. Crypto is here to stay.
It's not going anywhere.
And its impact on the world, well, it's only going to grow.
It will.
So whether you're a seasoned crypto investor or just starting to explore this whole world,
staying informed is crucial.
Absolutely. That's what we're all about here on the Deep Dive,
We want to equip you with the knowledge to navigate this crazy, constantly evolving landscape.
And don't forget, we're always open to other opinions. So hit us with those comments, challenge our assumptions, keep the conversation going.
We love a good debate.
Now, before we sign off, it's important to remember that this was an AI-generated podcast. And while we strive for accuracy, some information might be wrong. Always do your own research. Consult multiple sources before making any decisions.
Absolutely. Don't just take our word for it.
That's right. Be critical thinkers. Question everything. Never stop learning. And if you're looking for diverse viewpoints on this and other hot topics, check out The Other Opinion.
They've always got a fresh perspective.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into Trump, crypto, and the future of finance.
We appreciate you tuning in.
We'll see you next time.
Until then, stay curious.
Stay informed and keep those other opinions coming. And don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Catch you on the next deep dive.